One of my goals is to turn my TFSA into 7 figures by the time I'm 45. Hi, my name is Janine Rogan. I'm a financial educator and I've been in the financial education space for over 14 years. I'm very passionate about teaching women how to invest and build their wealth so that they can take that money and live their richest life. Now, I've been focused on TFSA growth and contributing to my TFSA for a long time, and I would say one of the best things I did in my 20s was relentlessly focus on maxing that TFSA out. My 30s, a little bit of a different story with having kids, going on maternity leave, paying for daycare at the time when it wasn't subsidized, leaving corporate.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Just all of the things. Life happens in your 30s, and so we haven't been able to max out our TFSAs every single year, and we have purchased 2 homes, and in some of those situations we did pull money out of our TFSA to help fund the down payment and to fund kind of other things in our lives, and that's okay too. But for 2026, I turned 35 in 2026. I'm giving myself a decade to turn my investment in my TFSA into a 7-figure investment by the time I'm 45. So we're locking in 2026. We are locking in on our financial futures. So currently my TFSA in December of 2025 is at about $224,000. And if you're wondering how that's possible, all I've done is invested within my TFSA and watched it grow to a point where it's actually worth more than double the contributions I've made to it. So I want my number one goal for the next 10 years to be that 7-figure portfolio, and here's exactly how I'm gonna do it. First of all, both my husband and I are playing a little bit of catch up when it comes to our TFSA contributions. I have about $60,000 in contribution room left in my TFSA, so that includes the $7,000 I'm getting for 2026, as well as some withdrawals I made in 2025 to help fund this home purchase and catching up on a couple of years where we weren't able to make the maximum contributions. So we have a pretty aggressive goal of trying to contribute about $15,000 each per year until we kind of get to that maxed out level. So for me, that is going to be in the year 2029 when I'm 38 years old. Once that happens, assuming the contribution room for the TFSA is still around that $7,000 to $8,000, I think I put in my projections $7,500. I will bump down to that $7,500 mark, and the additional contributions I would make will go into his TFSA. Understanding, of course, that we are married and have been married for 10 years. We've been together for 15. We were very broke when we got together, and so all of the assets that we build together would be split in the case that we split ways. Anyways, hopefully I will have caught up on my contribution room by 2029 or the year I'm 38. From there, I will continue to contribute that $7,500 or $8,000 or whatever the contribution limit is for the year, and also relentlessly focus in on growth within that account, because this is our retirement account. We are not using our TFSA to fund our emergency funds, to fund our travel. Our TFSA is for retirement, and hopefully we are not going to pull money out of it again, although who's to say what will happen with life. So I ran a couple of scenarios, being a good little accountant, and tried to figure out exactly how I could get to a 7-figure TFSA by the time I turned 40. I ran my first scenario at 8%, and I focused in on the contributions of about $15,000 a year. I will be getting a little bit of a windfall here at the end of 2025 into 2026, so that money is going to probably mostly go into our TFSA contributions to catch up from prior years. At 8%, including all of the contributions we're going to make, as well as, again, that growth rate on the investments in our TFSA, I will hit $1 million TFSA in 2039 or 48 years old. So I need to earn more than 8%. That's what that is telling me. If I earn 10%, I will hit it in 2037 or 46 years old. So 1 year kind of over what my goal is, because my goal is to do it by the time I'm 45, so within the next decade. So at 12% return on investment, I will hit a $1 million TFSA in the year 2035 or at 44 years old. So I am aiming for between 10 and 12% returns per year in my TFSA. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, oh my God, that sounds like a lot of money and a lot of returns, and is that even reasonable? I want to remind you that the average return for the stock market is about 10% per year. And especially if you're young, you can have a more equity heavy portfolio. I also went into my TFSA account to look at what my prior returns had been. And since inception, which I've had my TFSA with Questrade since I think 2012, I've earned an annual rate of return of about 14%. So this is actually a little bit conservative based on that estimate. So I'm hoping I can actually get there faster. My last 3 years, I've earned on average about 20% in my TFSA. And for my last year, I have earned about 17% in my TFSA. So as you can see, these numbers are not out of the ordinary for the returns in my TFSA. I'm investing in alignment with my risk profile. I'm really focused on minimizing fees because I do not want to give any extra money to anyone. I want to keep as much money as I possibly can, knowing that fees can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your investing journey. And I'm also investing for the long term. So I know that the stock market's going up and down. When it goes down, I'm not panicking. I'm actually usually investing more money in the stock market. This is exactly what I teach inside my course called the Wealth Lab and inside my mastermind, which is a more intimate group experience called Your Richest Life. I am so passionate about teaching women how to invest and build their wealth. And let's all focus in 2026 on building a 7-figure TFSA. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to come along on my journey to build a 7-figure TFSA by the time I'm 45 without, having to pick any penny stocks or having any crazy investments, please make sure you like and subscribe. You can comment below if you have any questions, and I will see you next week.